Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Justin Crone. I'm a student at the University of Louisville in the OLL program. We've been brought here today to discuss PowerPoint presentation and the facilitation techniques when using it. Before we get too far into our topic, how many of us have been to a PowerPoint presentation? Good. Keep your hand up if you've had to give a PowerPoint presentation as well. That's even better. That means we all have experience in this often dreaded method. Now, what I'd like to do next is ask each of you to introduce yourself and give one good and one bad technique that you saw during these presentations. I'll start off. My name's Justin. I'm sure we've all seen that presenter that just stares at the screen and reads in a monotone voice for an hour, and you don't want to do anything besides go back home and hit the snooze button 5 or 6 more times. But on the other end of that, I love when I see a presentation that gives me goosebumps from start to finish and makes me rethink everything about the topic. How about you guys?
Hi, I'm Jenny.
Oh, it's nice to meet you, Jenny.
For me, a really good presentation is when they have just like the perfect number of bullet points on there. They just let you know what you're going to be going over. And the opposite side of that is when they have just too little or not enough, or just one bullet point and a large number of slides you have to go through.
Oh, you are right. The amount of information can either really help you or really hurt you. I agree, Jenny. Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Hey Justin, I'm Jeff.
Oh, hey Jeff. Nice to meet you, sir.
You as well. I think one good thing is when the presenter uses an aid such as a laser pointer to convey the information really effectively, and when they engage the audience and ask good questions and tell stories, etc. One bad thing is when some of the slides have very distracting color schemes that are very weird or different from each slide, and very excessive animations. That can be really a detractor from the whole thing, I think.
Oh, yes, sir. I agree with you very much. Thank you. It's very nice to meet you, Jeff. Well, now that we've gotten to know each other a little better, let me try to explain to you how this is going to help you in the future. The ability to give an effective, engaging presentation is beneficial for students, instructors, and business professionals alike. According to LinkedIn, PowerPoint offers word processing, outlining, drawing, graphing, and presentation management tools, all designed to be easy to use and easy to learn. It gives you everything you need to produce a professional-looking presentation. Sorry about that, guys. So, the objective for today is I'm going to try and show you guys some of the good and some of the bad facilitation techniques. And if it's okay with you guys, we're going to try and have just a little bit of fun. Sound good? Now, I know what you're thinking. I do. Justin, you can't possibly be thinking about teaching us how to use it if you're not going to teach us when and why. Guys, I agree. You took the words out of my mouth. We're going to get along great this evening, I can already tell. First, how about we look into some of the advantages and disadvantages? Some of the advantages: the slides are 100% customizable. It allows users to embed video, audio, and image files. In comparison to charts and posters, PowerPoint's easy to modify, and it allows you to do all of these things in just one program in one shot. There's also a feature that allows you directly from the toolbar to search for YouTube videos or photos on Bing to embed into the slides, and it doesn't take any effort on your end. As you can see, I embedded a picture of both my dogs. The bigger one is Moose, and the one on the left, the smaller one, is Izzy. And I did that just as easily as my grandmother sending an email. But, you know, as always, there's disadvantages to things in life, and PowerPoint has those too. Some of the disadvantages, like Jenny had mentioned, the amount of information, or as Jeff had mentioned, what is the amount of things, the clutter on the slide. This can all take from it. All of it can distract your audience from what you're trying to do. Another thing to be wary of is software and hardware issues. Just because you did it on your computer and it worked fine, doesn't mean it's going to work fine on my computer or my screen. You always take that into consideration. And one more thing is when you want to use PowerPoint, sometimes you're going to have some extra equipment. Do they have a screen? Do they have speakers? Do you have to use your computer? Are they giving you a computer? These are all things to take into consideration. And things that could definitely hinder if you didn't plan for it and they didn't have what you needed. So now that we're on the same page about the strengths and the weaknesses, let's go over some of the better times to use it and some of the not so good times to use it. If a meeting needs the attendees' full attention on the presenter, well, then PowerPoint could just be another distraction. Just another thing for your audience to look at and wander their eyes and just watch the clock until it goes down. Another way, if you've had limited prep time to get the presentation ready, this could hinder you way more than it could help you. If you're not able to get the presentation done correctly, then you're underprepared, your PowerPoint's underprepared, and then you go into a meeting and now you're double underprepared. My biggest piece of advice that I can give you guys today, and I hope this is the one thing that you do remember, is that PowerPoint is just an additional tool. It is used to enhance your presentation. It is not meant to be your presentation. So, we've laid the foundation for reaching our objective today. Let's dig a little bit deeper. I'm going to cover 9 main topics today when you're using PowerPoint and the good facilitation techniques. If the goal of PowerPoint is to enhance our presentation, then it's vital that yours does the same. I am so sorry, I got tongue-tied. It is vital that yours does not have the opposite effect. Thank you. Now that we are on the same page about the strengths and the weaknesses, let's go over the best times to use it and some of the least desirable times to use it. If a meeting needs to be attended, I can't do it. Nope, hold the phone. You guys, I could tell something was off there. I didn't even have my back to you and I could tell something was off there. Why don't we talk about that? What do you guys think was wrong with that right there? Jeff, what do you got?
You're really just reading to the screen and not acknowledging the audience, I think.
Yes, sir, I was. Thank you. Jen, you got anything?
You're just reading it at me like I was a child.
Yes, I was, and I apologize for that. That was just a demonstration. I did not mean that against you. I hope you can forgive me. Thank you, Jenny. Good. You guys, you're right on track with me. You know what's going on. You're supposed to give the presentation to the audience. You don't want to give it to the screen. And definitely don't read from the screen. They don't need you to read for them, like Jenny said. Probably not going to have children at the presentation with you. This is supposed to be a tool to make the presentation better, right? If you give the presentation to itself, who's going to benefit? You could just put all the information onto an email, blast that out, and save time, resources, money, and everybody could just read it at their desk, or at their home, or on their phone, what have you. You're supposed to engage with your audience. Let the audience be a part of it with you just as much. Let the PowerPoint slides do their job, and then you do yours. Now, there are times during the presentation when you're going to want all of the attention on you. And this is acceptable. Sometimes it's necessary. You don't need your audience members looking at the screen. And sometimes this gets overlooked. In fact, when I first started using PowerPoint, I really wanted to use this effect. And I would try really hard, and I would plan, and I would embed a black slide somewhere in here. And I would try to make sure that I would click to it at the perfect moment and have this real dramatic effect. And it never worked out. Not one time did that ever work out. But don't worry, there's a solution to that. We can use the B key. When we use the B key, it blacks the screen out. But at the same time, it keeps you in the exact same spot that you were in, and you can easily hop back in. So if the B key blacks it out, there's another feature, the W key. I'm sure we can all guess what that is. You got it. Whites the screen out. Just as easy, takes you right back into the presentation. The next thing I want to talk about is the visibility for the audience members. Now, it may seem kind of silly, but you definitely don't want to block your presentation. If I stand here and block it, then there's, again, no point in having it. And you definitely want to walk around and you want to sit in each seat that's going to be available. You want to make sure that your audience members are going to be able to see what you're doing and what you want them to see. I mean, you don't want to end up like this guy trying to watch the game, do you? He's not seeing very much, I'll tell you that right now. So, we're about halfway through our list, and I'd like to pump the brakes here for a minute and do a quick recap of what we covered. Jeff, can you help me out and maybe tell me the first 2 points that we talked about?
Yeah, is it don't talk to the screen and don't read from the slide?
Yes, sir, that is correct. Thank you, Jeff. Don't talk to the screen, don't read from the slide. Excellent job, Jeff. Jenny, can you tell us one of the other points that we went over?
Using the B key to black the screen out.
Ah, the B key. Yes, ma'am, you are correct. And don't forget, the W key does what?
Whites it out.
It does. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And visibility. Ensure that all participants can see your presentation. You guys are doing fantastic. Let's keep this rolling. Earlier I had mentioned that we could use video clips to help the slide out. Now this can be very beneficial. Just a 1, 2, or even a 3-minute video can add so much substance to your presentation, guys. But we all know technology has a way to do the exact opposite of what we want it to do or what we're telling it to do, and there's nothing that we can do about it. So, when you are relying on a video that you have in here, check it. Check it at home. When you get to where you're going to present, check it again. Check it on the computer you're going to be using. Check it all before you begin. You do not want to end up with this screen telling you that your video is no longer available when you were really relying on it, on the most important part. So, just for fun, let's check out this this commercial that PowerPoint has on YouTube that I embedded.
It all starts with a Windows 7 PC.
That makes me laugh every time I see it, I swear. Well, but that does take me into my next point. You want to test your tech. If you have audio files or video files, you need to make sure they're speakers. Do they have speakers? Do you need to bring them? Do the speakers available, are they loud enough for everyone to be able to hear? These are all things that you need to take into account. Also, some businesses and many schools have firewalls that can prevent some of your media from showing the way that you really want it to. You need to test, check, recheck. You want to show up early. You want to test all of your equipment. After you get done, you want to retest all of your equipment. And once you've done this, best chance to be prepared. That's going to help you guys out the most when giving a presentation. Now, after you've prepared, you want to practice. Practice, practice. If you have a presentation where you want to switch between programs numerous times, or use, like I was talking about, the B key or the W key at just the right moment, practice. If you've planned it so that you want to be in the room at a certain point during a certain slide, practice. I can't stress that enough. You want to make sure that you are comfortable giving your presentation. And at the same time, you want your audience to be comfortable with you too. If there's animosity or hostility, well then nobody's really going to win. You're going to be talking to people that aren't listening, and people are going to be hearing you speak but not registering what you're saying. Be comfortable. Make sure you're as prepared as you can be. That way, if for some reason a major change needs to happen, you won't have to deal with that stress on the fly. You'll have a lot of that stuff already handled and taken care of. To print or not to print? That is the question. I'm kidding, guys, I'm kidding. But after you've made your presentation and you've practiced, this is the opportunity that you really want to see. Do you want to print out your slides and give them to the audience? I agree, sometimes giving all the information available is the best case. But sometimes it can really hurt you. It can be yet another distraction. If they have their paperwork, they may read through it and try to get all the information and say, well, I don't need this, or they may just a million things. If you do decide to use it, do you want to pass them out before the presentation, during, or after? What do you want to do? If there's other paperwork with the presentation, maybe you don't need your slides printed out. Take all of this into consideration. You want, again, maximize your presentation. The last point that I want to make to you guys while using PowerPoint, just like Jeff had said, is the use of a wireless mouse and a pointer. This allows you to move freely around the room and interact with the audience and point out specific things on the screen when there's numerous things and you just want to show one. This is one of the most useful tools, and it's small. It can fit in your pocket. It can fit in your purse. It's not even a hindrance. Like everything else, check it. Make sure it works, and always bring extra batteries. You can see I have a couple examples on the screen for you guys here. Those are just regular, all kinds of varieties out there. There's no shortage. All right, bear with me, guys. We're on the home stretch. Just be just a little bit longer. Now, we've talked about the advantages and the disadvantages of PowerPoint, and we talked about when is the best time to use it. And we covered the 9 different topics when facilitating PowerPoint. First, don't talk to the screen. You're not giving the presentation to the presentation. Don't read from the slide. Jenny had mentioned it. We don't need people to read to us anymore. We can do that. Besides Siri. Siri can read to us all she wants. Next, use of the B and W key often gets overlooked and can be very, very effective. We can black the screen out, we can write the screen out, draw that attention to us, not lose our place. Next, visibility. Participants need to see what's going on. They need to see you. They need to see the presentation. Keep that in mind. We're going to move right on, and we're going to check and make sure that any of our media, the audio or the video clips that we have embedded in, we're going to make sure that they're working prior to our presentation. We don't want to show up and get caught by surprise. Jeff? This leads us into our next one, our last, sorry, again I got tongue-tied. That point leads us into our next one. Do you remember what it was?
I think test the tech, right?
My man, yes sir, we are going to test our tech. Always want to remember to test. This is not the movies, folks. Life isn't going to go the way you want it to go. It's not going to go perfect just because you want it to. Gotta work for it. Jenny. Do you want to show up 5 minutes before a presentation and hope that everything goes like you planned?
Aw, jeepers, no. Need to plan. I'm getting freaked out just thinking about it.
You are right. Plan and prepare, prepare, prepare. Don't be like a deer caught in the headlights on the expressway when one little problem arises. All right, guys, true or false? Before every presentation, we want to print off a handout of our slides and give them to the audience.
False.
False is correct. We sometimes, remember, maybe having that handout isn't the most beneficial thing for us. Sometimes it's easier just to leave it and let this do its job during the presentation. Finally, the use of the wireless mouse and pointer. Bring extra batteries and make sure it works. Aside from this list, guys, you need to make sure you have fun. And make sure you're prepared for any problem that may arise. Thank you very much.